ladies and gentlemen. GreatTaz here with another World of Tanks newsreel. That's what we'll call it. I know I haven't done one of these since like mid-December because there's really not been any major news to go over when it comes to World of Tanks. But things have kind of changed, and here's what's up. Well, Wargaming put out a new Soviet premium tank destroyer. Go figure, it's Soviet, it's premium. It's probably OP. It's called the ISU-132. Now, right now it's in pre-sale. At the day of the recording, when this gets uploaded, which was going to be on Thursday, it will now be open to everyone to purchase. And here's my thoughts on the tank. I have none because I've not bought it. I probably will not buy it. And just think that, you know, there's just too many stinking Russian premium tanks. I mean, they just add the SU-130 PM in December. Now they're adding the ISU-130. I understand it's a Russian company. The majority of their game players are Russians, but come on. You want to keep your American and European players? How about giving us a few more American and European premium tanks here? Now, there is out there on the super test, they are super testing the TS, what is it, 150 something? It's a, basically, and this is how they work with everyone that isn't Russian, tanks, and this may be my personal opinion. It's basically the T-28, non-turreted, just with a few different stats. Anyways, all right. Well, that will be up for sale on Thursday, January the 17th. Also, we got more going on here. January sneak peek is up. Basically gives you challenges. Let's see. Got some mastery missions, some challenger missions. These are new tournament missions. There's your new missions. I didn't even click on that, but that's all right. You can go to their website and read more if you are tournaments. I don't do tournaments, so it's no big qualm to me. January sneak peek is what I was trying to get to. And the holiday ops is now done and over with at the time of this recording and stuff. And hopefully everyone got a chance to get to the new patterns. Maybe next year we'll still be able to get to unlock those if we're lucky. You got your player tank rights, premium count steal of a deal, your tournament missions. The T-45 is a month-long tank special. We got more specials coming in here. From the 13th to 14th is the Type 62, which is already done at the time of this recording. And the PZ-4S. XP weekends. Here's your XP weekends looking at the three times crew experience and raid missions on the 4th and 7th, which is already done. The 11th through the 14th, which is also done, and add an XP fever. 18th and 22nd is 4 times experience for everyone, and then the 25th and 28th is 2 times crew experience plus supply raid missions again. From the 4th to the 5th, here is your tanks of the week. Now, the 11th to the 18th is still going on. The 4th through 11th is now over. So you can get the patent this week for the next few days. Next week, you'll be able to get the Jagdtiger 88. And then the last week, you'll be able to get the Revelis. Tank mastery missions. Right now, we have the T-57, and they don't have anything. Well, the mastery missions, you have to look at those in game. Weekly deal, super chest, that's over. 18th of February, here's your on tracks. You got the T-57 Heavy, and then 30th to the 18th of February is going to be STB-1. You got your Trumvate, and, of course, special secret missions that are supposed to start on the 22nd. They're not letting anyone know, not even us YouTubers. Also with that, Common Test 1.4 is out. This allows you to play around with the wheeled vehicles, and also a little bit later in this I will be adding onto this, and what you need to know, and what experiences you will need, and what things you also need to know, basically to be able to go ahead and get into it. Now they did change some personal missions. They changed the Chimera, and they changed some on the I think they changed a few on the 279. They also did some slight improvements on the Chimera and the 279. But here is your basic missions. They changed some number of enemies you need to destroy, some other conditions. As you can see, this is the previous is in the left, and then the current is on the right, so making it a little easier. They took out win the battle for good of the team. They dropped the armor penetrating shots down by 3. 3 enemies within the, now it's 3 enemies within the first 4. Like this one is the first enemies within the first 4, but you got to cause 2,000 damage to enemy vehicles. That is not a time requirement piece. Only the first portion is, so don't worry about the second portion. You got to destroy 5 modules now. 2,000 hit points of secondary damage. 4 enemies instead of 6 without remaining spotted. Stun for 180 seconds instead of 200. Destroyed 6 vehicles of 2 different types instead of 3. 2 enemy vehicles prior to receiving damage. That could be really kind of difficult. I know that's hard for me. And then 1,000 points of damage instead of 1,200 and cause 20%. Basically, cause 10,000 HP of damage overall. But in a battle, you must get high caliber and win the battle for your secondaries. So that's basically some of the changes that coming in 1.4. Stick around for a minute and we will get into some of the French light tanks. What you need to know experience wise and credit wise. Now this may change because it is in the public test server, and this is not guaranteed that these will be coming out in 1.4, but it is most likely. Alright, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. We are on the common test server. And the first thing you're going to ask, is French tanks. French tanks, French tanks. Alright, let's go ahead and go into the French tree. And as I had mentioned earlier in one of my videos earlier, that I believe that the, and it was said, it wasn't guaranteed, that the French light tanks was going to come off of the AMX ELC BIS. And guess what? Ladies and gentlemen, it is. Now, on that, what do you need to know? Well, to get to the wheeled vehicles, you have to have researched the engine before you can research the AMD 178, and it's going to cost you roughly 32,000 experience, as it will cost you 28,000 to go to the 12 ton. Now, there is a little probably change because you're going from tracks to wheeled vehicles, but that is what it is. Alright, once you get into the AMD, it looks like you're going to have really nothing researched and available on the AMD other than maybe radios, which it looks like we have the ER26 tier. So you're going to have to research a bunch of guns and turrets. It does have a second turret. Now some of these, like this is AMD Pacific, and this is on the Hotchkiss, the ERB. So you might want to research this, or you might want to just save it, and we'll see here in a second if this is actually going to be its stock gun, or if it's going to be an upgraded gun. If it's an upgraded gun, getting it here is no big deal. If it's a stock gun too. Now, of course, you're going to have to go through the engine to get to the Hotchkiss and all that, and you can upgrade your wheels. And as you see, where tracks give you a transverse speed, this gives you a wheel turning angle. This is only 20, as where this is 24, but you do also get load limits. All right, so the only thing we're really wondering about in the next tank that might be here, well, maybe the radio, but we're not really overly caring. This also says it's in the ERB, so it might be the top or it might be the bottom. My way of grinding through tree lines is if it's in a tank and it's the stock version of the tank, why research it in an earlier tank, especially if it's something like a radio. Maybe if it's a gun and it helps you get through it, but I still likely don't do it. All right, when we know we have to get the 4E engine to get to the Hotchkiss, so it doesn't really matter. Now, when we move into the Hotchkiss, that we see the SA-49 ERB actually happens to be the stock gun. So I will not personally research it here because it doesn't give me any bonus experience in getting into the ERB. It's not, and the next one doesn't give me the next gun, so I won't do it. As we can see here, the EM61 is the second radio on this tank, but it's also on the Panhard and the ERB 90. The Panhard Lynx and the Panhard 90. So we know the gun is the stock gun, so there is something to look at, and no. All right, now this also has tier 10 radio, so this says it's on the 90 and the Lynx, so we'll hold this over here too, and we'll see if it actually happens to be one of their stocks. So we know it's on the Hotchkiss, we don't really need to see that. All right. So here's what you need to know to get through to the Lynx, which is a 6x6 wheeled vehicle. You're going to have to research at least a minimum of 2 engines. I'm probably going to say this is a Hotchkiss only gun. The second gun is Hotchkiss only. And the third gun is Hotchkiss only. So if you want those guns, you're just going to have to research it and deal with the fact that you're going to have to start all over with the Lynx. And turn. To get into Hotchkiss, you're going to need 61.8 thousand after you research the engine in the 170, the AMD. And to get to the Lynx, you're going to need 104,400 after you research the 2 engines on the Hotchkiss. And it doesn't really matter if these engines, we can look at these engines, but they both say Hotchkiss, so I'm betting they're just on the Hotchkiss, which they are. That leads into the Lynx. Now, when we get to the Lynx, we see the radios. Still, neither one are the stock radios. They are the first one and the second one on this tank, and this tank is going to be more, this line is something you might want to more pay attention to your radios for the simple fact you're going to be rushing down it. They have short view range, but in turn, that short view range is going to need to be fixed and repaired with longer radio range so you can speak back to your allies. So you might want to go with a bigger radio or you might not. Here we see we have 2 engines in the Lynx. Looks like they are both Begots and they both only block on the Lynx, so there's no leading into the ERB 90. But we have 2 guns. One is only Lynx, and the other one is ERB. So this here comes to my same thing again. Are we going to want to research this, or can we save that 23.4 thousand and put it right into the ERB itself? If this is a stock gun. If it's not a stock gun, we get it here because it gives us a better gun on the ERB. So let's go ahead and check out the ERB. After researching the 2 engines on the Lynx, you're going to need 191,800 experience to get into the ERB. So that's pretty lot of experience to get into the tier 9 compared to some of the other ones. Now, when we get into the ERB 9, we notice that the CN90F3 that is on the Lynx's top gun is also the ERB 90's stock gun. So save yourself some time and ignore this 23,400 and put it right into getting to your ERB. Now you look at the difference. There's a little bit of pen between the 2 guns, the 2 90s, a little bit of penetration and a little bit of rate of fire. The top 90 has a little bit more aiming time, but the top one also has more weight. So, in all truthfully, I would completely ignore the CN90F3 and just stick with the F1 when grinding through the links. That way I can save that extra experience and get the links deleted out as soon as I research the ERB-90. Now, the ERB-90 does have a second gun, and it's probably going to be on the ERB only, which it is, so you'll want to get that to try to help you out in the long run. And as we can also see here, the radios are the last spot that these are available, so if you wanted to research them earlier, you can, but if you're speed researching through, you can ignore them until you get to the ERB, because you're going to need to go through the engine, which is not going to matter any time of any of these equipment going on to the other 105, because if it is, it's going to probably be stock anyways. But as we can see, none of these do. So you can wait till you get to the ERB-90 to actually research your radios, and then to elite it out. And then you're going to need 230,000 in the ERB-90 to get to the ERB-105. Now, I have not researched any of these tanks. I have not played any of these tanks. So it's a matter of, I haven't had time. I really haven't sat down to look at it. I wanted to give you basically what you needed to know so you can get into researching of these vehicles. I'm going to call them vehicles because they're wheeled tanks. A tank is a vehicle, so since we're putting wheeled vehicles into the game now, they are wheeled tanks, but they are a vehicle. Semantics. Alright. As you can see here, I have a pip on my exterior, so we're going to go check that out. We got new inscriptions. Some different types of inscriptions here. We got this 333. Let's see what that looks like. Enter any number. This is cool. 007. Interesting. You can put any number you want on your tank now. And there's 4 different styles. That I do like. Now, does that take the place of... Yes, it does. It takes place of a basic... It does take place for the basic style of... No. Go back here. I'm playing around. I'm giving you a look at the different styles of not tactical numbers that as and added to the subscriptions. And there's what it looks like from a side view. Now remember, you have other spots that you can put inscriptions. You can change the number, apply to all types of maps, remove it, and close it. There should be another one over here. Nope, just 2 on this one. So we'll apply it to all types. Then we look at our winter and look at our desert, and that's what we have. Alright, so you can put numbers, whatever numbers you want on here. I would say use some couth and not use freaking crappy numbers that can be misconstrued so you get your tank reported. Alright. Close this. We're not going to spend that. I got all the gold I need to do it, but we're not going to. So ladies and gentlemen, that's really the changes inside of the game that is coming. As you can see, some fun, cool stuff coming up in 1.4. And if you want to test these out, jump on the common test server. You can get that right from the World of Tanks websites. I will put a link in the description, since I can't put links up in the corner yet because I don't have 1,000 subscribers yet, and I can't put links to outside things other than YouTube. With that being said, click subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. Click that bell to get instant notifications, and you will see many, many more videos of mine, and for many other games which are coming down the line. Also my game reviews, and my World of Tank replays and newsreels. But ladies and gentlemen, with that all being said, this is GreatTaz signing off. If If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you did not, give it a thumbs down if you think it deserves it. Have a great time, and we'll see you in the world of tanks, and we'll see you in version 1.4.